Alito Chimichukma, this is Chief Steve coming at y'all with another episode, a true story. We got a really interesting one for you guys today, but before we get into it, make sure you guys like and hype this video up, comment in the comments section, get really interactive, hit that subscribe button if you're new, and don't forget to hit that notification bell as well, so whenever I drop these bombs, you'll be the first ones to grab them. Now, without further ado, let's get into it.
To be extinguished. Despite detribalization, the Narragansetts continued to make their presence known. Some chose to join the ranks of modern society. Others believed that assimilation could only lead to ruin.
By then, there were people who knew the game, had long since become familiar with the game that was being played. The Narragansett families who wished to remain traditionally as their ancestors had been, made sure there was the teaching. Go out there and learn all that you can from these people. But never forget who you are. Never forget you have your own language, your own religion, and your own way of acceptance.
In Rhode Island, some citizens who did not own property had to wait until 1928 before they were granted voting rights. But three groups were still officially barred by state law from casting a ballot: paupers, the mentally incompetent, and Indians. The only way the Narragansetts could participate in elections was by identifying themselves as African Americans. Charles Ernest Hazard confronted officials who enforced this practice. His brother, Joseph, one of the oldest members of the Narragansett Nation, recalls the moment.
Indians couldn't vote, so he went up to the State House and he says, it's on the charter that the Indians can't vote. And he says, you're voting, ain't you? And he says, no. He says, I consider myself a Narragansett Indian. If I vote, I'm voting under Negroes could vote, but not an Indian.
Are you asleep? Come on, you're not sleeping. Listen to me. I'm asking. You hear me? I'm asking. You black little Indian, come on, you hear me?
Black people were here first. Black people were here first. Black people were here first. Black people are the aboriginals of every continent. Dark-skinned people are the aboriginals of every continent. Native Americans migrated over the ice bridge from Siberia, that would be Asia, and became what we now know as Native Americans. But the people who were on that land before them and the ice bridge even formed were black people. Black people also built pyramids on every continent. That's why there are pyramids on every continent.
Americans came from Africa. Ships, chains, the transatlantic slave trade starting in the 1600s. That's the story in every textbook, every documentary, every history class. But what if I told you there are documents written by European explorers that tell a different story? Records from the 1500s describing dark-skinned native tribes already living in North America. Maps showing these populations before a single slave ship arrived. Journals that don't match what we were taught. What if the history we learned was rewritten to hide something? But European explorers kept journals. They drew maps. They wrote letters back home describing what they saw. And some of these documents describe something that doesn't fit the narrative. In the 1500s, Spanish explorers traveling through what is now the southeastern United States wrote about meeting tribes of people with dark skin who were already living there. Not Africans who had been brought over. Not recent arrivals. Native peoples who had been there for generations. Giovanni da Verrazzano sailed along the Atlantic coast in 1524. He described meeting native people who looked different from each other. Some had lighter skin. Others had darker skin. He wasn't writing about slaves. He was writing about indigenous populations. Hernando de Soto's expedition through the southeast in the 1540s documented similar encounters. Dark-skinned tribes with their own languages, their own territories, their own histories. These weren't isolated observations. Multiple explorers from different countries wrote similar descriptions. But these records were buried. They didn't make it into the history books we read in school. Why?
No, the way that they've actually stolen the land is quite fascinating. They just created an overlay of zip codes, then they claimed them. But the thing about it is they can't claim your land. Land can only be passed from one sovereign to the next. It cannot be passed to a foreign corporation. So what they're doing is they're claiming your land because you haven't, and that way when you die, they can take it from your heirs.
Now, why is this not being known more widely in America? Why is this being swept under the rug?
We have a gigantic industry in the United States and in the West which is determined to limit black people to a slave mentality, to tell them you've been slaves, and the only way you're ever going to get out of that is to rely on the slave mentality of the socialistic welfare democratic system, which is going to subsidize your manumission ever further. Well, as we know, no one ever gets out of his own bondage by someone else doing it for you. It's by your own work that you bring yourself out of bondage.
The elite do when you see that you're outnumbered by black and white folks who are penniless, landless, peasants. You have to do one of two things. You either have to kill them all, but you can't do that because who's going to work? Rich folks weren't going to. They had to get poor people to work. Whole point was to be a person of leisure back in those days. That was the goal, was not to work. So you couldn't kill them all. You didn't want to kill them all. You had to do the work yourself. You had to build your own levee, build your own house. No, pick your own tobacco, harvest your own cotton. No, we're not going to do any of that. So you can't kill them, but you can co-opt them. And so the elite in Virginia, for example, in the colony, begins to give certain carrots to people of European descent, saying things like, you know, we're going to let you own a little land, not much, but just a little. And we're going to get rid of indentured servitude. Now you're free labor. And by the way, once you're free labor, you get 50 acres of land just because you're free labor, see? So we're going to cut you in on this deal. We're going to let you enter into contracts. We're going to let you testify in court. And here's the best of all, we're going to put you on the slave patrol to keep those people in line, right? The idea was you're still going to get your clock cleaned. We still don't like you. We still aren't going to really empower you or change your economic subordination, but we're going to make you honorary members of this team, and you're going to help us keep those other people down. And so they got a little taste of power, and it did effectively divide and conquer those coalitions. Those rebellions began to stop.
Baby, we not signing another contract. Hear me out. So I made a video yesterday about collective awakening, and I want us to sit with it a little more. Because we are in the middle of some real shit, y'all. The kind of chaos that many of us have never seen before. And what's even more interesting is black folks, as a collective, baby, we at peace right now. We're not confused. Everything around us says we should be confused. We should be disoriented. We should be disconnected. But we at peace. It's like being in a pool and you dive under the water. You can still hear the voices, right? The people laughing, talking happening. You know there's commotion on the other side of the pool, but it's not hitting you the same. It's muffled. You know the noise, the laughter, the people are there, but it doesn't matter because you're under it all. The veil is up, y'all. The gig is up. The contract, it's expired. And I need y'all to pull in for this one. Because if we're real honest, there was some destiny swapping happening for a long time. Our labor, our bodies, our emotional work, holding together a system that kept collapsing. But destiny swaps only happen when you agree. And this time, we refuse. And I don't want y'all to get distracted because there will always be outliers. Harriet didn't take a whole lot of folks. Keep that in mind. Baby, we sitting this one out, resting, opting out of the motherfucking system. We not signing another damn contract. Not with our bodies, not with our peace, and for damn sure not with our futures. I hope y'all picking up what I'm putting down. All right, black folks, drink your water. Stay rooted, real, and knowledgeable, and mind your black business. Happy Black History 365, and I'll see you next time.
It's 2026, bro, and I need us as a collective black Americans to wake the fuck up, bro. Like, still believing that we're Africans and that we're descendants of African slaves and all this malarkey in 2026 is crazy. Like, I understand we've been watching Roots for the past 50 years. I understand all the brainwash and the indoctrination through the school system, but we gotta take some responsibility and accountability to use our own fucking brains and our own critical thinking skills, because it's fucking insane, bro. It's fucking insane, bro. We are the indigenous Americans, bro. We are the reclassified indigenous Americans, bro. We are the Aboriginal Americans. Matter of fact, maybe y'all should stop thinking indigenous American, because the image when you think indigenous, you think pale people, tan people with the big noses and the small lips and the long straight black hair, like the ones that came down the Bering Strait, Siberians or whatever you know what I'm saying, they came from over there. I think instead of indigenous, you need to start using the word Aboriginal, because that's what we are too. Because when you think Aboriginal, what do you think? The niggas in Australia, right? And speaking of Aboriginals, Australians aren't the only Aboriginals. There's Aboriginals all over the fucking planet, bro. Aboriginal means fucking first person there. There's Aboriginals in Australia, black as fuck with coarse hair. There's Aboriginals in East Asia, black as shit, nappy ass hair, that have no ties to Africa. Look them up. So you're telling me you don't believe if there's Aboriginals black as fuck in Australia and Asia, in Oceania and all those places, you don't think there were any black ass Aboriginals in the New World, in the West Indies, the West Indies, the Americas? Not just black Americans, but the West Indians, the Caribbeans, yeah. West Indians, yeah. So, I need us to wake up as a collective, bro.
Land belonged to us. We go abandon our land. We were here when they got here. They just reclassified us as Indian. And the ones that didn't want to go on the reservations, they put them on the plantation and called us. The ones that didn't want to go on the reservation, they put them on the plantation and classified them as. The rest of them got reclassified as Indians.
What if I told you the label freeman wasn't about freedom, but about erasing who you were before the 14th Amendment? And I'm probably going to ruffle a few feathers with this one, but just let me explain. So before I jump into it, this is only for educational and historical discussion only. Anything I say in this video is backed by documented research and primary sources. Do your own research and come to your own conclusions. This is not misinformation, this is history through another lens. The 14th Amendment didn't just grant citizenship to so-called black Americans. It reclassified a conquered people. And now I know some of us didn't get reclassified to freemen, some was reclassified to Negro, mulatto, or colored, but the purpose was still the same. Pay attention. The oldest skulls that they dug up on this soil were the Paleo-Americans, the original inhabitants was reclassified to a freedman, to Negro, to mulatto, or colored, to make it seem that we was newly free and not. Then we had the original melanated Europeans, the free persons of color. These were the heirs of the royal patents and hereditary surnames from England, Spain, Scotland, etc. They came over here, the melanated Europeans, the coat of arms, and was intermixing with the melanated Aboriginal crowns, merging two distinct bloodlines into one, creating a double sovereignty, the natural rights to the soil, and the law of the nations provided by the European nobility. Keep following. After the 14th Amendment passed, it swapped our inherited sovereignty with civil rights, which is granted by the government and regulated by statutes that operates under the corporation. By becoming citizens of the United States, we went from being the owner to the employee. This created a brand new political status, which, once again, the citizens of the United States. Pay attention. Before the Civil War, the United States operated under an organic constitutional framework where each individual state was viewed as separate sovereign republics. And before the US Constitution and the British Charters ever existed, the original sovereign states on this soil were the independent nations of the original melanated inhabitants. An organic state citizen, under strict national law, the law of the nation is defined as an organized body of people living within a defined territory under an independent government. And this is noted in the original Constitution, Article 4, Section 2, Clause 1. The citizens of each state shall be entitled to all privileges and immunities of citizens in the several states. The primary purpose of this clause, like the clause between which it's located, was to help fuse into one nation a collection of independent sovereign states. State citizen possesses inherent rights that come directly from the natural law of the earth. These rights completely exist independent of and prior to the creation of any government, and in this status, you are the principal sovereigner operating under the common law of the land. It gets more deep than this. Pay attention. And in comes the 1662 Baby Follows the Belly law. And although this law was used as a predatory economic purpose to ensure that the children of the enslaved woman would automatically become property of the slaveholder, and also to erase the inherited sovereignty through the melanated coat of arms and the melanated Aboriginal crowns, because remember, this was used for the enslaved and the free persons of color. Because before this, status followed the father, but they flipped it to follow the mother. Okay, so keep following. However, with that law, the commercial application to chattel slavery was abolished through the 13th Amendment. And when they did this, they unintentionally created a permanent biological backdoor to their own legal system. Let me explain. That law, Baby Follows the Belly, was never repealed. It's still in existence till this day, and that law says your status flows strictly through the mother. You know how like a mother passes down her DNA? She passes down your legal status, and your pre-US maternal biological lineage acts like a direct title deed to this soil. And they can't even touch that law because it sits right outside the US corporation's own framework. So if you ever wondered if we can get deported, if they can do this, if they can do that, they can't do nothing with us. They can't do shit with us. Let me explain. That law was codified in 1662. The U.S. corporation was formed a whole century later and formalized as a corporate structure during Reconstruction. So therefore, that law recognizes our maternal lineage and status that is tied to this land long before the federal corporate government ever existed. So pre-corporate sovereignty to this land, you understand? So the child inherits their true ancestral status and organic title through the condition of the mother, because our maternal lineages traces back to these women that was here before the 14th Amendment and before the U.S. corporation formed. And that law sits right under the 14th Amendment, and it's still in existence, and it can't be repealed because the U.S. corporation did not create it. They only inherited it through the 13 colonies. Oh, and it gets way deeper than that. I promise you. Stick around for part 2.
All right, racists.
The reason that I love this shit here is because we're the only motherfuckers in the country that celebrate our heritage. We the original Indians. Our people. That's why I love this. That's why this is so important to me and to everybody else should be in the whole world. Let you know this is our land, this is our people. All of this is ours. You gotta know who you are, where you come from. And that's how we pay tribute to where we come from. Look at that beautiful work right there. They don't do that nowhere else in the world. You can't find that nowhere else in the world. Wildlife tradition. Oh, that's all of it. And Louisiana all together, one hit. We got a whole bunch of gators for the haters. We got everything in there.
Well, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Isn't it crazy that any other race outside of Black Americans can speak on who they truly are and don't get bashed for it? But the minute a Black American speak on who they truly are, we're attacked for it. This is my grandmother, Callie, born 1893, a pure-blooded indigenous Indian. This is also my grandmother, Callie. But my grandmother, Callie, when she died in 1974, she died with the name Jessie Tucker, with her race being Negro. How did my grandmother go from being an indigenous Indian named Callie Carter, which was her birth name, to dying a Black Negro, Jessie Tucker? What the fuck really took place with our ancestors? Let's awaken the truth. After slavery, land theft, and treaties were broken, the U.S. government decided who counted as Indian and who didn't. Census workers, local officials, laws like the one-drop rule turned indigenous people into Black people on paper, stripping them of land rights, identity, and protection. To the pale-faced Native Americans who are asking us, where are our tribal cards? Let me ask you a question. Why would a true indigenous person need permission from the same system that stole their land to prove who they are? Why? While you're waving your tribal cards like they're birth certificates, history actually shows us something different. Whole communities were erased from records, while other communities were added for land, money, and benefits. But what's even more crazy is seeing Native Americans claiming to be the true indigenous identity, but yet use the same hatred, the same racism, the same disrespect that the settlers used against their own ancestors. If your bloodline really comes from people who survived genocide, how did you inherit the language of the oppressor instead of the spirit of the oppressed? How? Our ancestors were reclassified and paper erased. And let me ask you this. If our ancestors were migrants of Africa, what was the purpose of the government reclassifying them all? You don't reclassify migrants, you document migrants. But you do reclassify indigenous people when you're trying to erase their land rights, their identity, and their legal statuses. Reclassification only happens when someone already belongs to the land, and the system needs them to stop belonging on paper. If we were newcomers, then that would have been no need for census trickers, racial relabeling, and paper genocide. They didn't change us because we arrived. They changed us because we were already here.
You have folks who said, Cube, why are you putting Native Americans in here? Why isn't this just for Black people?
Black people are Native Americans. We've had a lot of proof. Some of us started here in this land. Everybody wasn't brought over from Africa. So, we have to find the true lineage of people in this country because everybody wasn't brought over from Africa. I used to tease family members who would say, I got a little Indian in me. I would think they didn't want to be all the way black. But when I really do the research, a lot of them did have a little engine in them. We want to be counted on all levels, not just, through slave ships. We were here before Columbus. A lot of us. We want to make sure that's included and not excluded.
Hey, yo, check out this indigenous footage. Tell me what y'all see.
Indians in Massachusetts. At this late day, yes, sir, they're the last remaining remnant of the Wampanoag Nation. And they've survived with some admixture of white blood after most of the other Atlantic seaboard tribes have become extinct.
What do you want?
What do you want? Watch yours.
Goodbye. I'm gonna sing a song. Go.
That footage was from the Wampanoag Nation. Tell me what y'all think about that in the comments.
100 years later, the Negro is still languishing in the corners of American society and finds himself in exile in his own land. Now, have you ever wondered what that passage meant from Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech? I did, and what I found was one of the biggest secrets that's not really a secret at all, except to many African Americans, is they are not descended from Africans. I know, I was shocked too, so much so that I asked Africans, and they agreed African Americans weren't Africans. If you don't believe me, Google Arnaldus Montanus America and see the people he saw in 1671. Read books like The Black American Handbook for Survival through the 21st Century by Radine Amin-Ra, What Every African American Should Know by Carrie Davis, and Africans and Native Americans by Jack Forbes. I just can't believe schools aren't teaching this stuff. What a travesty.
We are not Africans. We are not Africans.
So you saying it wasn't Native Americans there, it was blacks?
It was black.
It was blacks, right. But blacks got Native American in us.
That's native.
Because I'm Indian.
My dad was what you call jet black. He was blue black. My dad was really dark. My mother was real fair. You can tell what she was. My mother was just as white as you are. Like, my mother was.
Really?
Yes. My mother's Indian. And so I'm not speaking that she wasn't black. She's a black Indian, you know.
Shut up. I'm not going nowhere, and I'll kill a motherfucker you tell me to go like back to Africa. But listen, I'm talking to black people. Stop that fucking horse shit. That go back to African shit. First of all, Africans don't like black people. That's first thing. They don't like us. And what the fuck am I going to do in Africa?
I can. I represent my city, which is definitely a part of here. I'm definitely a native, a true Native American. I got, paternal and maternal sides is Cherokee. So yeah, for like America for real.
I was at my mother's house, which was so the Indians, you could get dirty and you didn't have to worry about starched iron dresses, and we had a lot of fun.
What kind of Indians were?
I think my mother said Cherokee, and it's been a long time, I don't know which one it was, she says. I don't even know if she remembers really, but...
Cherokee and Navajo. My father was Navajo and my mother was Cherokee.
Dumbest text conversation I had in a long time. Somebody with a degree trying to tell me something. She African American. I'm an American. Trick me with that shit. That's what they want you to think. You ain't American. Motherfucker, if my ancestors helped build this son of a bitch, why would I say I'm African?
I don't want to be called an African American. I'm an American. I'm an American. Go ahead. When I competed in the Olympics, they didn't say fighting an African American. They said that American that's fighting out of the red corner or out the blue corner.
So you're an American?
Absolutely.
Bleeding red, white, and blue. Of course I am.
Absolutely.
Of course I am proud of it. But
I mean, why do we constantly call each other African Americans? When we go out there and go on the front line and fight the war, we're Americans. When we go in the Olympic Games, we're Americans. But now when we come home, we're African Americans. I don't understand. We're Americans. We built this land.
Preach.
Absolutely. We can be black Americans, but we're Americans. We built this land.
Absolutely.
A lot of times we saying we African Americans. A lot of us in this country don't know nothing about Africa. So I've never seen none of us compete against. When the Europeans come to America, we don't call them European Americans.
Hope y'all catching these gems being dropped. Hope they're catching them.
So, look, and just whenever they want to separate us.
Yeah.
When we commit a crime, we're African American.
Yeah.
When they want to separate, but when we do something good and we go
to the Olympics, you're an American.
We're an American, because when we get that medal, we're an American. So there's a difference.
That's good.
Hey, now listen,
You can't call me. I can't be this one day to be something the next day.
Yeah.
Only when it's beneficial to you. That's when I'm an American.
You can tell that Floyd has been wanting to get that off his chest for a while now. But as one who tends to shy away from politics, as well as keeping his social views to himself most of the time, it appears that for Floyd, there was never really a right time to express how he feels about the term African American until the right time finally came up during this roundtable discussion. You can also tell that Van Jones, as well as the rest of the panel, was slightly taken aback, not because Floyd was wrong, but simply because out of all the people in the world to speak on this, nobody expected that to come from Floyd Mayweather. But he was 100% correct.
Hey y'all, if y'all liking what y'all see, do me a favor, continue to be a star, hit that like button, hype it up too if you have the option. Let the algorithm know that we mean business here in 2026.
Also, don't forget to look for Chief Steve on Facebook and Instagram. Chief Steve on Facebook, chiefsteve.yt on Instagram. And let this be the moment that we draw the line. For 250 years, they have tried to define us by their paperwork, their systems, their classifications, their narratives, and their confusion. For 250 years, they have tried to separate a people from their memory, from their land, from their inheritance, from their culture, and from the truth of who they are. But that time is over. The veil has been lifted. The curse has been broken. The shackles have fallen. And the truth has set us free. We know who we are now. We are not what they called us. We are not the labels they forced on us. We are not the categories they used to bury our identity. We are the copper-colored Aborigines. We are the American Indians. We are the indigenous people of this land. We are the original people of Turtle Island. And now that we know, we cannot unknow it. Now that we see, we cannot unsee it. Now that the truth has reached the people, there is no putting us back to sleep. And let me say this clearly. We will not live another 250 years under a lie. We will not pass these chains to our children. We will not keep repeating bondage in a different form. We will not keep wearing names that were never ours. We will not keep allowing this system to interpret us, define us, and reduce us. No more. Because once a people remember themselves, everything changes. How they walk changes. How they speak changes. How they raise their children changes. How they build changes. How they protect each other changes. How they move in this world changes. And that is what you are witnessing right now. You are witnessing an awakening. You are witnessing a shift. You are witnessing a people rising out of confusion and stepping into truth. And it's not just the so-called common folk anymore. Even those with influence, those with platforms, those with voices that reach the masses are becoming bolder. They are stepping forward. They are speaking louder. They are no longer ashamed of what they know. They are no longer afraid to stand in what they know. Because the truth does not need permission. Truth does not need validation from the system that buried it. Truth stands on its own. So from this day forward, let it be known. We do not consent to another 250 years of mislabeling. We do not consent to another 250 years of spiritual, mental, economic, and cultural subjugation. We do not consent to another 250 years of living beneath who we truly are. We are rising. We are remembering. We are reclaiming. We are restoring. And to our people, I say this: walk boldly, stand firmly, teach your children, honor your elders, protect your lineage, protect your heritage, protect your inheritance, and never again let this system tell you who you are. The truth is here now. The people are waking up now. And there is no chain stronger than a people who have remembered themselves. The curse is lifted. The shackles are broken. And we are free. This is Chief Steve, and I said what I said. Tata Chista, I cherish you all. Yo Koki, thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.